Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday so far. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to forego the usual what we have coming up to jump straight into the conversation because it seems like I don't think the patience will build up from taking 5 minutes to do the what's coming up. So who we have here today with us is Rhetoric, Jim Panda, Gav, and Dell from Beyond the Imaginary Curve. And they're not going to be... Actually, Gav, I'm going to let you say what you just said a second ago about you're not here to defend a model, but you're here to talk about the claims that we make that the Earth is a globe. So I'll let you explain that position, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. So we're two very normal, reasonable people coming here for a discussion about objective reality. We were all born into the claim that we live on a spinning space testicle, and we find these claims absurd after we looked at them very closely. So we are not here to defend a model. We don't have a belief in a specific model. We think that what you are claiming, that we're living on a spinning ball, is nonsense, absurd, and infantile. And so we have no model to defend.
Okay. Dale, did you want to
add anything? I am actually glad we got that out of the way. They have no model to defend. That we all agree. No, they have no model.
Dale, did you want to add anything onto that before we jump over to the other side?
I don't see the relevance in anybody having to adopt any strawman models. Well, talking about realism, I'm a real person, born into this, just as Gav said, and it's, you know, this intellectual superiority and this nonsense that people think you must have a model to defend is absolutely preposterous for real people born into this situation. So just as Gav says, the globe is absolute bollocks.
I'm agreeing with you. Flat earthers have no model. We're all in agreement. Steve, I don't know how that's an electric
define flat earther, please, Steve. Define flat earther, Steve.
I'm not going to define anything, but we agree flat earthers have no model. Is that a true statement?
Don't attach a straw man to any.
That's a true statement. All right.
Okay.
Just making sure we're on the same page.
Okay, Reds, would you like to try to establish, I guess, why it is true that we are on a globe Earth?
Simply because observations that literally anybody can do confirm it. I mean, that's basically the first thing. But as far as a little bit going further in depth, it's because our model has predictive capabilities that have been tried, true, and tested and have shown to be correct, which is why we were able to predict a solar eclipse for, I don't know, like, what was it, like 200 years before it actually happened? You know, shit like that. So I guess if the round Earth model is complete bollocks, then I guess we would need a pretty damn good explanation on why that bollocks has been pretty fucking accurate in predicting a lot of shit that has happened in the future.
Okay, I'll answer that. Okay, predicting patterns in the sky.
I think Panda's supposed to go next.
I believe, you'll get... Yeah, we're going to do this organized a little bit. Let's try to be organized. Yeah, we got to cover, man. We got to cover. We'll moderate. Yeah, we'll moderate here. We got this covered, but let Jen Panda introduce himself first, okay? I mean, Jen.
Then we'll let Dale respond.
Well, I would just say that I think this is a not veiled attempt to avoid any burden of proof. Gavin and Dell constantly claim that the Earth is flat. Dell constantly makes the claim that the atmosphere must be contained. So I believe that they do have a model. It's not very fleshed out, but they have a model.
All right.
Their model is that the Earth is flat and it's contained. I mean, do you disagree with that?
Jim, should I, for point of clarification, should I rephrase that as to date, they have no working model?
Right. Fine.
Okay.
That's good with me.
I'll go with that. Sure. They have no working model. Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
Was it my turn? Can I speak?
Well, I mean, would you agree with what I'm saying?
Jeremy, is it my turn? Shut up.
Hold on, Jim Panda. Let him respond.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Dale.
Repetitive patterns in the sky. Anything in the sky that gives you absolutely zero measurement of the Earth's dimensions that you're standing upon. Absolute lunacy. inferring that how do we create pressure? We go to physics, we go to actual substance-based, tangible reality. How do we create pressure? We need a containment. What happens to pressure next to a non-pressurized environment? They equilibrate 100% of the time. Demonstrable fact of everyday existence.
And yet, if you climb a mountain, you have lower air pressure.
Because there's less mass entropy, Jeremy.
Why isn't air rushing up a mountain?
Because there's less mass entropy.
But you said that it would equilibrate. Why doesn't it equilibrate here on Earth?
What are you talking about? Where?
Why is there a pressure gradient? Why is there a pressure gradient on Earth? If all pressure, you've just said all pressure equilibrates 100% of the time. And yet we live in a situation where it clearly does not.
No, I didn't. Listen to what I said.
Okay, what did you say?
A pressurized environment coexisting next to a non-pressurized environment with no solid separation, both opposing pressures will equilibrate.
Well, they aren't opposing pressures.
So I would ask the question just very...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I would just like to ask the question, if you deny that reality, are you people actually denying lived life that two opposing pressure systems will equilibrate without a solid separation? Is that really what you are telling us?
Yes.
Everything that we realize and see and experience in our lived daily life, without which we could not function, you are actually denying that. Is that correct? You're reality deniers.
Jim Panda?
Jim, is he still there? Did we lose Jim? All right. Reg, did you hear the question?
Any one of you. You can all answer. Yeah, please.
Gav.
Sure.
If I show you something in reality that shows you to be full of shit, would you believe it?
Yeah, if you can demonstrate something practically to me, yes.
All right, perfect.
Can you do that?
Steve, I've never used this incredibly messed up format that you're using. Can you please tell me how to screen share?
Dave will, our producer, will walk through that.
That's not going to work. Sorry, you need to demonstrate practically with substances to me. Sorry, showing me a video.
We'll allow him to show you.
Gav.
Sorry, that doesn't work.
Gav, you can't just say it doesn't work before even seeing it. That's called being closed-minded. Now, if you want to go ahead and broadcast your intellectual dishonesty to everyone, be my guest, but I'm trying to show you evidence that you are asking for. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you again, would you like to see the evidence I have at my disposal?
Okay, I would like to see it.
Shit?
All right, and by the way, we'll extend the same courtesy if they want. Gav, hang on. We'll extend the same courtesy to you guys. If you want to show something, that's fine as well. To screen share, what you're going to go do is go down to the bottom with the mouse over where it has the disconnect, camera, microphone. The fourth one over is screen share, I believe. Is that right, David?
The little square thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to type.
Is it okay if I just respond to that? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, on you go there.
Sure. I guess so. There's not much to respond to. He hasn't shown it yet.
I haven't shown you yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to screen share.
No, I think what somebody was missing here is that when we say natural science, then we mean demonstrate practically with substances. We don't mean showing videos. Can you show that happening with demonstrably, practically with substances? That's what we want to see. I want to be able to do it for myself.
Yeah,
showing me a video is not going to help.
So you were expecting to get live science experiments performed in front of you on webcam. Is that what you were expecting from this debate?
No, don't be.
So what do you mean? What do you mean by practically demonstrate? What does that mean?
This is exactly what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to show here is something that has been demonstrated. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a fucking video of it.
On you go.
Camden's.
All right, so Dave, is this something we can show?
Oh my God. Okay, fine. Yes, I guess I can go ahead and share a link to video. I would prefer next time this be on Hangout so I can actually screen share this shit, but okay, fine, whatever. Oh God. Okay.
And while he's doing that, Jim, do you want to one sec, Jim, do you want to explain why he's doing that? How a pressure gradient works from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration? Because I don't think he understands how you can have differential in pressures across medium.
Steve, see your loaded actions, Steve. They're just annoying, mate. All right, we understand a pressure gradient. The question is how do you create pressure in the first place? How do you maintain pressure, and how does it act next to a negative pressure system? So don't tell us we don't understand a pressure gradient. Don't put words in our mouth and speak for us.
So you do understand it. So I don't understand why you're asking for it then, but that's fine.
I do know how it works.
Okay.
You deny
I do actually.
Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and say this. Hang on, guys, before you all jump down everyone else's throat. I went ahead and sent you the link, Steve. If you can tell whoever is making the show to fast forward to 3 minutes and 15 seconds and screen share, that would be fucking fantastic.
I'm getting it to our wonderful producer now. 1 second. 3 minutes and
Gav, I think this is a good opportunity while he's setting that up, Gav, to so that people know where you're coming from. You kind of gave us what your credentials were before we started, but I think that'd be a good thing to kind of put out there so people understand that you have that in your corner, at least, so you can kind of talk about what you're done with.
Yeah, I can do that. So I just want to be very clear that I don't think that people need credentials to be able to discern what objective reality is. So I just want to put that up there up front. I responded, or I requested over the YouTube video because Steve McRae asked for flat earthers who had credentials. Now, I don't believe that's necessary to discuss the flat earth, but I do have credentials. I studied mathematics and physics, majored in both. I have an honours degree from Glasgow University. I'm here because
you have a bachelor's equivalence. Is that what it is? A bachelor's equivalence, not a master's, but a bachelor's. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm here under a false premise. Because.
Yeah, I can maybe just like to explain that.
I haven't even gotten to my first piece of evidence, and already we're crying foul. What did you say, Guy Manning Show? 3 minutes, 15 seconds, please, and let me know when it's actually playing.
And go ahead, Gav or Dale, if you wanted to address that.
Okay. Well, let me go ahead and ask a question first. Okay, Gav, question for you. If I had a vacuum chamber, and let's say I had a small packet of gas, if I cracked that packet of gas open in the vacuum chamber, the packet of gas would expand rapidly into the vacuum. Is that correct?
In a contained vacuum, yes.
Yeah, if I had a vacuum chamber, so chamber, we bring it down to vacuum, as much of a vacuum, we have a packet, like some sort of containment for gas, and we just break it open. That gas will expand rapidly in all directions to fill the void, correct?
To fill the vacuum chamber, yes.
All right, perfect. We're in agreement so far. So at this point, if you have the video up, if you can please play that, that would be great. And then let me know when it's playing. There we go. What we're seeing here is the Atlas V 551. As it's doing a rocket launch, it's doing what's known as a luminosity transfer.
We're now in the sunshine.
So what you see here is the gases being expelled out of the back of the rocket. Now, the one thing that you're going to notice here is that as the rocket gains more and more altitude, the gases are going to expand wider and wider and wider. Can you skip ahead by 1 minute? You will see here that as the rocket gets further and further, the gases are expanding more and more and more. So we will go ahead and discuss the mechanism of exactly how this is working in a moment, but this is showing evidence that there is a pressure gradient at work here. This pressure gradient is showing that as the rocket gets higher and higher and higher, the air that is surrounding it is getting thinner and thinner and thinner until eventually the gases being expelled out of the rocket are so fucking wide you can't see it anymore. So basically what this is showing is that what we are seeing and what Jim Panda was showing, that's Miko right there, main engine cutoff. what Jim Panda was saying about there being pressure gradients, this is demonstrable evidence from reality that you would be able to see yourself if you bought a plane ticket to Cape Canaveral, Florida sometime. By the way, this was filmed with the Nikon P900, the flat earther camera of choice.
Okay,
very quickly,
right,
people are asking. Real quickly, people are asking. Real
Let
quickly. I am the moderator. I am the moderator, and when we decided when we started this, when Kyler and I moderate, everybody be quiet so you don't talk over. Real quickly, because this is pertinent. Can you please tell the audience what pressure is, because they're asking for it? So if I have a conversation, if they don't know what you're talking about, can you give them a definition for pressure, please?
We made a point on how we go to physics, and we're told we live in a pressurized environment that's coexisting next to a vacuous, empty space, negative pressure, zero pressure. Now, Mr. Red's Rhetoric here has just showed a video of a supposed rocket in our pressurized environment and explained how there's a pressure gradient in the gases, which we understand. We're quite clearly.
What is pressure?
Steve,
people are asking you, what is pressure?
Steve, listen. The claim of the globe.
I am listening. We're asking you a question. What is pressure?
Steve, the claim of the globe. I'm responding to the way.
I'm not asking about the claim. I'm not asking about the claim. Can you tell us what pressure is? Yes or no? If not, I'll ask somebody else. Okay, he doesn't know. Gavin. Yes, that's the question.
So we can
these fucking morons are just buying deceptive pieces of shit. They're not here for honest discourse.
Del doesn't know what pressure is. Okay, we're not Del. I told you before. Del, hush.
It's just evolving. Okay, listen.
Total no.
Yeah, listen to us carefully.
So listen.
Del,
here's what
we
we're
told you.
gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Hold on. Chill out, everybody. Reds. So that everybody in the live chat has an answer. Dale, it wasn't to you, Dale. It was just a general question. So Reds. Will you define what pressure is so that we can then have Dale respond to the video that he just saw?
Pressure is a force that is applied perpendicular to a surface.
Okay.
So it is a orthogonal force over unit volume or unit area.
Now we're going to go to Dale. Now we're going to go to Dale to respond to the video that we just saw, and then we'll let Gav respond after Dale. So Dale. It's your
so if it was relevant, I would answer the question about what pressure is, and as Reds has just explained, pushing equally in every direction, or a container. So that's exactly the point. So we asked about pressure. We're told we live in pressure. We go to physics. How do we create pressure? How do we understand pressure? We need a container. How do we create a vacuum? We need a container. What happens when we put the two of those together and remove the containers? We have equilibrium. Now, what he's just demonstrated is in no way, shape, or form a response to the point that we made.
I'm sorry that you don't see how it is a response. I can go ahead and correct you on that if you're actually willing to hear it.
Okay, we're gonna get there, Reds. Just let Gav Gav respond.
Try your best.
Okay.
There. So Gav.
Yeah, so pressure, a definition of pressure would also be to coerce. So I don't like this badgering questions either and showing false equivalencies in videos and pictures. So can you please ask or respond properly to the question?
Stop butting in, Steve.
Okay, first of all, I'm allowed to butt in because I'm the fucking moderator.
So am I. I don't give a fuck about your time.
So Del, as much as I want a dumpster fire, I'm not going to let you walk on me, Del. It's not going to happen. It will not happen. You want to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. But you will not walk on me, Del. Do you understand?
I'll fucking walk on you and you walk on me, Sonny boy.
Chill out. Look, I'm gonna start muting everybody. That's everybody. Leave the personal, whatever's going on between you two. Let's just chill it out and don't respond to each other.
I asked him a question. He goes into roid rage.
Okay, we're gonna go to Reds to respond to Dale and Gav's claims. Okay, Reds.
Yes, thank you. All right. How do we create pressure? Pressure is just because there is a weight of air around us. As you get further and further and further up, there's less and less air above you. And that means since there's less and less air above you, it's naturally going to weigh less. That means the higher up you go, you have less atmospheric pressure. The claim being that we need a container was just debunked by this video I shot of a rocket. And by the way, this wasn't something that I got secondhand. This was a rocket I filmed myself at Cape Canaveral, Florida back in 2015. And you could see something like this. Okay, just interrupt me too. Listen, I understand the listen. I understand having evidence. Listen, I understand having evidence shoved up your ass sideways is painful, but please take it like a fucking man. So with that, I'm saying this is that when you actually see this rocket go higher and higher and higher, you're seeing a demonstration about what Gav just admitted would happen in low atmospheric pressure, i.e. vacuum. He said that gases would expand outward evenly. Thank you very much for interrupting me again.
Yeah,
thank you very much for interrupting me again.
God, everybody, people can't hear your sides. If you're wanting to make an argument for that the globe Earth is ridiculous, at least wait until everybody's finished talking so that the people out there can hear your side of the argument. If your true intention is wanting to disprove that, just wait until everybody gets done, and then we're going to give you as much time as you need to explain your side as well. I promise you that. But everybody out there can understand. Just relax a little bit. All right, Red's finished, and then we're going to go and let them respond to what you're saying now.
Thank you very much. All right, so let's try this one more time. As Gav just said, gases in a vacuum will expand outward rapidly. What we saw here was a rocket having its gases illuminated by the sun, expanding rapidly, more and more so as got higher and higher and higher. This shows a decreasing atmospheric pressure as altitude is increased. And guess what? Since the rocket didn't blow up when it hit anything, I guess that means there wasn't anything there to decrease the atmospheric pressure other than the weight of the air itself and the fact that there was less of it. So with that being said, given that you can see this in reality, objective reality, remember, that's what we're dealing with here. And I was able to film this in objective reality. And the fact that you can see this in objective reality, please tell me how you're now going to disagree with objective reality. Go.
Was that in a vacuum? Was that in a vacuum? Was that video you showed us something in a vacuum?
Yeah, that video I showed you was something going into vacuum.
Prove it.
Okay. Can you please play the video again? Please bring up the video one more time and bring it up to 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Or not 3 minutes, 40. Yeah, 3 minutes, 45 seconds, around there. There you go. Okay, so here you see the gas expanding at one rate. Fast forward to around 4 minutes 30. Now you see it expanding at a different rate, exactly what we would expect in a vacuum. Proof given. Now, what is your counter to this?
I win shite. It's so preposterous.
You have 30 seconds.
Let us speak. Let us speak. Right. Resulting to videos that you're just looking at something in the fucking sky, there's no scientific measurable proof of anything, son. We're asking you to demonstrate practically how gases are pressurized and what the relationship is in regards to a non-pressurized environment. Practically demonstrate. Don't just fucking show us a video of some wee thing in the sky and then say, ta-da, there's my claim proved. You're just waffling utter garbage, son.
Yeah, absolute nonsense. Yeah.
Can I ask
practical demonstration?
Well, why is it nonsense? I mean, what? Sure.
What I want to know is what is meant by practical demonstration, because it's
With
the video
substances.
isn't good.
Do you know the difference?
It sounds like they're asking for something being shown to them live, and yet they've denied that that's the case. So, what is meant by practically demonstrate?
Jeremy, see these devices that we're using right now. See when it comes to men and real people in regards to reality, see when we make claims to each other, we're duty bound to demonstrate stuff. So substances is like the things that you're using right now, the keyboard you're typing on, the screen you're looking at, the cup you're drinking out of, tangible stuff. That's how we prove to each other how things are real. Right? We don't just show videos. That's real.
But it is a video, Dal. We're speaking via video, aren't we? What can we show you that wasn't on video?
Jeremy, if I remember correctly,
it's recorded video. It's recorded video that you object to. Live video is okay. Is that right?
No, what we said at the beginning. What we said at the beginning was something that we can prove for ourselves. So proving for ourselves does not mean I can, no, show me somewhere where I can take two different pressure systems, take away the barrier, and they will not equilibrate. Show me.
Sure, the bottom of a mountain and the top of a mountain. How does that occur without a barrier?
Or the fact we have expelling gas reacting
pressure
to
without the container.
So I'd like an answer to that question. How is there different pressure at the top of a mountain to the bottom of a mountain without a barrier in between?
Right, and I'm going to show you a wee example you can do for yourself, which I've explained to you numerous times, Jeremy. Go to a body of water, okay? Get into the body of water, swim downwards, Jeremy, and you will notice an increase in pressure. Do you know why that is?
I asked you a question about the top of a mountain and the bottom of a mountain. It has nothing to do with water.
Where's the moderators?
I've asked you. It's a simple question. Let me repeat it because you seem to.
Right here.
How is it possible? How is it possible for there to be a difference in pressure at the top of a mountain to the bottom of a mountain?
Mute everybody. Okay,
sorry, I'll mute.
He asked you a question. Answer the question about the mountains, and then he will respond to you about the going into the body of water. But give him an answer about the mountains question that he asked. Okay, now you can unmute Dell.
Answering the question, just because it's not palatable, you let me get to the end of it, okay? So, as expressed with a body of water, it's the same way here. The higher up you go, there's less mass pushing down on top of you, less pressure. Simple.
Okay, Jim Panda.
So you're not disagreeing with my video then?
So at what point does this stop working then? I mean, if you can have a slight difference in pressure, let's say at sea level at 14 psi to the top of a mountain at, I don't know, 5 psi or something like that. Why do you believe that stops at some point and then requires a barrier for there to be a difference between almost no PSI and no PSI? Why does that require a barrier and the mountain doesn't?
Because Jeremy, I deal with everyday reality. I look at my reality and how it actually operates. Now, in order to even have pressure in the first place, we require a container. Do you deny that?
Yes.
How? Give me an example.
Pressure requires atmospheric pressure requires a force acting on the atmosphere.
It's just words.
Dell said.
That's just words.
You know what?
They're English words that you should understand. You know, they're coherent words, I think.
No, it's fair. It's fair. Dell asked. No, hang on. Dell did ask for an example. Listen, guys, that is fair. Can you please replay the video from the 3 minutes and 45-second mark just so we can see that one more time?
Rocket the fucking sky, son. Shut up.
Yeah, I know. Objective reality is a pain in the fucking ass, isn't it?
No, just
showing videos is a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass when it doesn't agree with the flat Earth, does it?
Okay. Gav, did you look like you wanted to say something? Did you want to help clarify your side on that?
Yeah, but again, I would ask for the reality deniers to deny, once again, please, for everybody to hear that a container is not necessary to create pressure.
A container is not necessary to create atmospheric pressure.
Okay.
No, pressure. Wow. I'm saying pressure.
Wow.
Pressure, yes.
Why is it necessary for you to define it like that? Why are you playing a word game, Gavin? Why are you playing a word game, Gavin?
No, because you're playing word game.
I was just more specific than you, wasn't I? You were being deliberately non-specific.
No, because that atmosphere is exactly the point of contention that we're talking about here. That's exactly the contention that we have, that our atmosphere can exist next to a void without equilibrating. That is exactly the contentious point. So if you're only proof that atmospheric pressure is apparently possible to do that because you guys believe in space, yet in lived life and direct reality, that is not possible, then you are denying reality.
Reality seems to disagree with you.
Mountains are in your reality. And at what point do you believe that this pressure gradient stops? Why does it stop? Why do you? We know there's a pressure gradient lower.
Because that's why do you life does.
Question.
Go ahead.
Question to both of you. If the Earth was removed would the atmosphere then equalize with the quote vacuum? Or is there a reason that we have a pressure gradient from space to the Earth because we have something called gravity that the Earth has? If we didn't have the Earth, would we still have the atmosphere stay where it is, Reds?
No, we wouldn't.
Okay,
we
so
would
something
need,
is causing it.
Gravity.
Okay, so we need something to prevent the atmosphere from going to space. Gav, would you please address that? If the Earth wasn't here, do you think that we think that the atmosphere would just stay where it is, or do you understand that we promote that the Earth has gravity, and that gravity is what is causing the attraction to the atmosphere, causing it not to leak out into space?
Steve, you're already assuming things that I deny, right? So there's actually no point in us having a discussion if you're already making presuppositions that a space exists. Yeah, that we're a spinning ball in space. There's no point in discussing further, right? We have to agree on some first principles. You can't bring presumptions into your arguments that I deny to begin with. So let's go right
back.
Make it a
hypothetical.
To the very start.
Forget the precept.
No.
Forget the precept. Make it a hypothetical. If it was the case,
why should we talk about hypothetical things?
So you cannot talk about. If you don't want to talk about hypotheticals, that's fine. You can't talk about hypotheticals. Just say you can't talk about hypotheticals.
Of course I can. But I'm here to talk about direct reality, Steve, not about hypotheticals. If you ask me how does the warp drive work on the Starship Enterprise, then I would also have to say I don't fucking know, right?
So are you claiming that space doesn't exist?
Yes.
Are you claiming it does?
Okay, that's a claim. All right, there you go, Jim. Reds, please.
That's an interesting point.
Hold on. You guys are claiming that space exists. You claim that
they just claimed there was no space.
Well, can we stick to the pressure thing, please?
No, let's go somewhere else.
Let me stick to the pressure point, please. Okay. Yeah, pressure point.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I saw what you did there.
Okay. Yeah, you see, that was clever, wasn't it? So basically, the idea is that we had a task given by Gab. Show me something in objective reality that shows this pressure gradient going into something that has no barrier, which is space. And guess what? Del, stop using your asshole for your mouth and shut the fuck up for half a second. All right. As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, was that as we saw in objective reality, rocket lifting off and showing the gases expanding more and more and more as it got higher and higher and higher, which is a direct consequence of less and less and less atmospheric pressure. Eventually, the atmosphere will get so thin that there will practically be no atmosphere. We're seeing this demonstrated to be the case in reality, but yet for some reason, these guys deny it because, it's on video, therefore it doesn't count. I call bullshit.
Okay, I mean,
you're a specky prick, Steve.
Go ahead, Dale.
Go ahead, what?
Did you have something that you wanted to...
It's because I'm dealing with fucking incompetent knobs. That's why. I've no patience for fucking stupidity. And you're just a stupid fucking bunch of knobs.
From somebody that couldn't define pressure.
Okay.
You're not giving an opportunity because you're a biased little fucking shit stain. Steve, you're no fucking funny or clever, son. You're a fucking incompetent little dick squeeze.
David,
that's what you are.
Steve and Gab, please.
I don't know what the hell he's even saying, so it doesn't really matter.
Did you want to respond to Reds? I don't want this is not going to be a Steve versus Dale thing at all.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that either.
I want to try to stick to what we're here to talk about. Gab, will you respond to what Reds said there?
Yeah, so first of all, what we said was demonstrate something to us practically in lived life that we can do ourselves, which he hasn't done. He's shown us some rockets apparently going into an assumed space, which we deny. There is no proof for a space. You guys are making claims and you have no proof for it apart from visible images. So I don't think he's responded to the claim or to responding to the request at all.
Okay,
we can agree to disagree.
Yeah,
let me go. Well, let me go ahead and just respond to that. I'm not saying that rocket is going to stay in space. What I'm demonstrating with that video is that our atmosphere is next to a vacuum, and that has been demonstrated in objective reality. Now, you, sir, do you now deny objective reality, which is something that you can verify yourself? And if you're not, hang on, and if you're not denying objective reality, which has been shown to you, then please explain the contradiction that is your position.
So you've just said that you are assuming a space is a vacuum. I have no proof for that. That's a claim that you will first have to prove before you can go further.
Okay, sounds good. Can you please replay the video at 3 minutes 45 seconds?
Prove to me that there is a space of a vacuous space.
Listen, look, he doesn't believe in space. I think is where the issue is. So
I don't get. Well, that's the thing. I don't give a shit whether he believes in space or not. What I'm trying to demonstrate is that our atmosphere is next to a vacuum. And guess what? Whether you want to call that vacuum space or not is irrelevant.
Yeah,
I know that.
he actually
demonstrated that it's a
vacuum.
I want to know.
They do believe in a pressure gradient. They've said they believe in a pressure gradient. So
What do you
why?
think space is?
I don't know. I'm not claiming there's space.
Red's rhetoric has waffled on for the last 20 minutes about pressure gradients. Nothing to do with what we actually fucking stated in the first place. And he keeps continuing to waffle and refer to this video that's got nothing to do with what we requested. Nothing to do with it.
Absolutely correct. So
let me go
to talk about natural science.
So let's go ahead and repeat what you guys were originally explaining, because obviously you guys must have forgotten your point in the midst of screaming. Your point whatsoever was that how can a pressurized atmosphere exist next to what you, Dell, called negative pressure? By the way, no such fucking thing. And you wanted evidence of this. So I showed you evidence of our atmosphere existing next to what you called negative pressure, Dell. So my advice is this: if you don't want your own words shoved up your ass, I'll recommend you remember them next time.
If that's your measurable scientific proof that when somebody asks for a practical demonstration and you show a video of a wee fucking light in the fucking sky, you're beyond help, son. You're an incompetent, delusional moron, right?
That light grew fairly big, didn't it?
What?
That light grew fairly big. It's almost as if the gas was expanding due to a lack of atmosphere, which debunks your bullshit. I love this game. Let's play some more.
The gas is expanding to equilibrium with the fucking surrounding gas.
Exactly. And if you kept going, what the fuck is going to happen?
Nothing. You're not going to go to a vacuum.
Okay, so apparently a gradient that continuously gets less and less and less is not going to eventually equal a vacuum. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Yes.
That seems to be.
Gav, you have a college education. Please correct your friend here.
No, my friend is absolutely correct. You guys you're assuming things and you're presuming that there's a space and a vacuum, and you're not representing the claims.
We're not assuming.
Let's talk about something else.
Let's not. The atmospheric pressure gradient.
Let's talk about water. Let's talk about bendy water. Show me some practical demonstration of curved water, please. Yeah. Oh, great.
Hang on, Gav. Go ahead, Jim.
The atmospheric pressure gradient is well understood. It's well known. We can all experience it. All we have to do is drive up a hill and our ears pop. We know the effects of pressure. These are things that we do experience in reality. And if there can be a difference in pressure between the bottom of a mountain and the top of a mountain, and we know that continues at least as far as the aircraft that we travel on go, at what point do you think this stops or suddenly requires a barrier for some reason? Why do you believe that?
Because that's reality.
Because
Jeremy, that's
lived life.
So at what point does it stop being a gradient, and why?
I don't know.
You tell us. You're the guys that are making this shit up. You tell us.
Well, okay, so you don't believe there is a pressure?
When it goes into a vacuum, a space that you're assuming exists.
Gab, do you accept the fact that pressure is different at the base of a mountain as it is at the apex of the mountain? Do you believe that they're the same pressure, or no? Are they the same pressure? I'm not asking you. Are they at the same pressure, or are they not at the same pressure?
There is the medium gets rarer as higher. Yes.
Okay, so there's a pressure gradient.
Yep. That depends on your terms and definitions of a pressure gradient, Steve. No, let me finish.
You're really how you want to define pressure gradient?
Let him finish.
Am I having a fucking stroke right now?
I don't know. This is bizarre.
Guys, if it's just going to continue like this, that we don't get an opportunity to explain our points, and you guys are just
I'm asking you to explain. Take your time to explain.
Everybody. Hold on, Gab. Go ahead and tell your side. Nobody interrupt him until he gets finished, please.
Okay.
Gab, go ahead.
Well, I've actually forgotten. What was the question again?
Okay, the question again is, do you accept as a pressure gradient from the base of a mountain to the top of the mountain? Do you accept that there's different pressure there?
Yes, I accept that medium gets rarer as it goes up further, but what I wanted to say was we can talk about definitions of pressure and the terms and the terminology that's used to define pressure, and that would be something that we would need to dive into, because when you guys bring up things like pressure gradients and you're assuming things like space exists, which I deny that there is any proof for that claim, then we can't have a further discussion about that, because Lived Life tells me that we need a container, and you guys are saying that we don't need a container. You're bringing in pressure gradients, and the terms and the reference, the definitions of pressure gradients is sophistry, because
we can simply
you're using
agree
that to assume.
Reds,
We can
Jim?
simply agree that space is a vacuum.
But there's no point in me discussing if I deny that space exists and you have no way of proving it.
We can just agree that space is a vacuum. You're claiming there's a vacuum.
No,
You're claiming the atmosphere
anything.
next to a vacuum. Let's just call space a vacuum. I'm happy to call it that.
You're claiming it's a vacuum.
The atmosphere.
No.
You said the atmosphere can't exist next to a vacuum. You both repeatedly said that. So you're saying it's a vacuum there. We'll just call it a vacuum.
That's correct.
If you don't like the word space, vacuum's fine.
Okay.
Let's not call it space. Call it a vacuum. Don't call it space if that's triggering you, dude.
Yeah.
But you're showing me pictures of atmospheric pressure apparently existing next to a space void vacuum. That is an assumption that you are making and have yet to prove that exists.
Incorrect. There is no assumption in
No,
I would not.
You've made that assumption. That's your argument.
Gav.
Your argument is
Gav.
that pressure cannot exist next to a vacuum. You've made the assumption there's a vacuum there.
In Lived Life, that's the way it is. You've came here and you've tried to show that your rocket is going into a spacious void vacuum that I deny exists and that there's no proof for.
Yeah.
So where are we going from here?
Don't deny it. You said there's a vacuum there. You both said that.
Hang on, Jeff. Hang on. No. It's
okay,
not.
Well,
It's not
no
that there's no
atmosphere. Then,
hang on.
There's no problem with that.
Hang on. It's not that there is no proof for it. It's that, Gav, you are denying the proof despite evidence to the contrary being right in front of you.
No, you're assuming something that I deny. So how can we have a discussion?
By simply using your eyes. The thing that you claim is the most important tool to you. Use your eyes and see the gas being expelled out the ass end of the rocket and see it expand. So tell me, is the gas not expanding? Are you seeing something that I'm not?
Expanding.
It's expanding into the pressurized environment. That's what it's expanding. You're not proving.
No. See, Del, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. That is where you're wrong.
Speak.
No, because the middle of my sentence can interrupt the beginning of yours.
Can I get a chance to speak?
No, I'm not done yet.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Shut up, Rex. The globe claim is that we live on a pressurized rock in a vacuous, empty fucking space. That's the claim that we are addressing.
Okay, and that was the claim that's been shown to be true because, as you can see with the fucking rocket, Del, shut up. No. My turn.
Hold on, Del.
Okay.
Del, hold on.
So as the rocket was heading up and gaining altitude, the atmospheric pressure was getting less and less and less. That is why the expelled gases were expanding. Eventually, they expanded so fucking wide that you couldn't even see the gases anymore, i.e. a vacuum. So it started in atmosphere at regular atmospheric pressure at sea level, which is where Cape Canaveral is, and went to 0 atmospheric pressure, thus demonstrating that our atmosphere is next to a vacuum. You guys wanted an example of something in objective reality. I gave that to you, and now you're denying it. Please explain the contradiction that is your position.
What happens to a gas when it's heated, Reds? It expands. Okay, so when there's less pressure as you go up, it's expanding ever more rapidly. Okay, no way, shape, or form did your silly wee video prove the existence of the globe claim that we coexist next to a vacuous empty space and do a pressurized environment. Utter hogwash, son.
Wait a minute. Are you asserting that the rocket, hang on, are you asserting that the rocket nozzle gets hotter as it gains altitude? Because I can debunk that shit right now.
No. Is there hot gas? Is there hot gas coming out the back of the rocket?
Yes, there's hot gases being expelled out of the ass end of the rocket. That's the point.
What happens to gas when you heat it?
It expands.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that's what the video shows. It expands into lower pressure.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That's all it's showing. Hang on. Because here's the thing. If it was just expanding due to heat alone, then why was it expanding at different rates thanks to altitude? Thank you. It's amazing what happens when you use logic this time, huh?
Yeah.
Gav, listen. You have a college education. Can you please correct your friend?
And Gav did say that he agreed already. He agreed already that there was a pressure gradient from the bottom of the mountain to the top. However, I don't understand how. If he accepts that, then obviously he accepts that it's not at equilibrium because it's a fluid system. It's not at equilibrium. There's obviously a higher pressure at the bottom than there is at the top. So that's not an equalized state. So how is that possible? If what you're saying is supposed to be where you can't have a difference in pressure in a same system, how do we have the fact that we have a higher concentration of atmosphere at the base of the mountain and lower at the top?
The question at the very beginning.
That was a Gav. Sorry, my fault. That was a Gav.
How do you even create pressure in the first place, Steve, to even analyze it? How do you even create pressure to analyze it?
That was the Gav.
You can ask the same
thing. I would ask the same thing. Tell me.
You can ask your question, but hang on. You can ask your question as soon as you answer mine. That's how it works. I asked you a question. Answer mine. I'll be happy to answer yours.
So what was the question, Steve?
Is there a communication barrier here? I'm having to answer
just ask the same question again.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
The question once again is: you've already established there's a pressure gradient from the bottom of the mountain to the top. How is that possible when you keep saying that there is no possibility of difference of pressure in the same system? You expect it to be at equilibrium. Those are your words.
Lies.
That's not at equilibrium though. So why is there a pressure difference at the bottom of the mountain and the top if it should be at equilibrium according to what you said?
So how does the pressure get measured, Steve?
Again, you're asking a question with a question, or you're answering a question with a question. I'm asking you a very specific question. Can I get a direct answer, or just you can't answer it?
Okay,
I'll answer that one. Yeah.
All right. Let me ask that to maybe
pressure gradient now.
There, let me ask you that to Gem Panda because you know what I'm asking, correct? No, hang on, Gem. You know what I'm at. I'm not interested in asking you, Gem. I asked him a question. To be able to answer.
Let him answer.
All right, Dale, go ahead, and then I do want Gem to answer it next. Is that fair?
Cool.
Let him answer.
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead, Dale.
So we're talking about pressures and the relationship between a pressurized system and a vacuum. Okay? That's the claim that
nothing to do with my question.
You just got to keep butting in.
Yeah,
Let him
if
finish.
you're not going to answer
Even
my,
if it's wrong, then you can clarify it.
Direct your question at me. Direct your question at me.
I've already asked it 4 times. Answer the question. You'll get plenty of time. Say you're done, and then I want Jen and to actually try to talk about that question because my question doesn't involve space in any way, shape, or form.
Go ahead, Dale.
Ask me the question.
The question for the 5th time is, if you're supposed to be an equalized state in a pressurized system, why is it that you have a difference of pressure at the base of a mountain and then the top of the mountain?
I don't know what you mean by equilibrium in a pressurized system. What are you talking about?
That's why I didn't ask you the question. That's why I didn't ask you the question. You don't understand the terms of something.
I've lost the relevance of what you're talking about, Steve.
Do you want to answer the question, Dale?
I'm trying to explain to you. I have lost the relevance of your question. I don't know what you're meaning by it.
Then why'd you want to answer it? Why'd you want to answer a question you didn't think was relevant? That's
because you're misrepresenting what I've actually said from the beginning. We're not talking about the Earth.
Let Jim answer the question, and Dale can respond
exactly.
on what Jim says. Dale, you can respond to what how Jim answers it. If there's something that he says that you find an issue with. Jim, answer that question.
Well, I mean, I would just go back to the examples that I've already given. That we all experience this. I mean, if you've ever been skiing and you go in the little shop there where you buy food and stuff, all the packets of crisps, you would call them potato chips, are all expanded. They're all bloated because there's a difference in air pressure between where they're packed and where they're sold. We know that there's a pressure gradient. It seemed like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Gavin, because you were kind of cut off, but it seemed like you were about to say, you were saying, how are these things measured? It seems like you're trying to divest yourself of pressure gradients, and you're trying to say, well, maybe there isn't one, or maybe it can be called into doubt because we can't practically demonstrate it in front of you. I mean, this gradient exists, and if there's a difference in pressure between the bottom of a mountain and the top of a mountain, and between the top of a mountain and the altitude that an aircraft flies, there is. I don't have a reason to believe that stops at some point. If you have a reason to believe that, I would like to hear it.
Go ahead. We would all like to hear it.
Yeah, but I personally, I think none of you guys have answered the original question that I asked. This is a misrepresentation of what was originally requested from you guys to demonstrate.
So you're not going to address what Jim said.
Stop butting in, Steve.
No,
let everybody finish answering the question, and then we will respond based on how you, Gav, finish answering the question. Let us know when you're finished, and then we will respond, even if it's incorrect or doesn't go with what the question is.
I'd like to
go
the chance next after Gav.
Okay,
sure.
Yeah, so this is we're now an hour into this, and we keep going round in circles. We're not having a reasonable discussion at all. So when we're asking something, we're getting misrepresentations of what we're asking for. We're being showing videos. We're being sucked into discussions on pressure gradients. It was very clear that we said, how can you practically demonstrate this in lived life? And you guys haven't been able to show it. So, at the moment, I think we should move on to another topic because this is just going round in circles.
Okay, I agree we need to go into another topic. But in all fairness, they did give you an example. It's just that you didn't accept what the example was.
Right.
I mean, that's
and
doesn't mean that they give you an answer.
But that's because the example was not representative of what we asked. Yeah, that's not what we asked. You guys are.
You were asking for a demonstration that was done in reality.
Are we going to go round again?
No, we're getting ready to move on. We're getting ready to move on.
No, we'll just let you avoid answering the question because obviously you can't explain why there's a difference in pressure between the top of the mountain and the bottom of the mountain.
If you could properly,
it's a shame you can't explain that. You really ought to be able to, but there you go.
So right, they asked it and they can't explain it.
Wrap this segment up. We're going to go.
Wrap the segment up.
Yeah, we're going to go into another example, but go ahead and wrap.
All right, fine. I'll go ahead and wrap it up. I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. All right.
No,
You were asking, Dell, shut up for half a second. God damn.
Just chill.
So, sounds
ahead,
good to me.
Greg.
I was told to wrap this up, so I'm going to try and wrap this up. So here it goes.
Just the pressure part. We're going on to another.
Yeah, just the pressure part. I get this. Let me wrap this up. Jesus. Okay, so we were asked to demonstrate something in reality. All right? We were asked to demonstrate something in reality, something that they like to call objective reality. When shown something that has been done and demonstrated in objective reality, which these guys could verify for themselves if they just bought a fucking plane ticket, all of a sudden it's not good enough because reasons. We weren't given any reasonable counter to the video I showed. We were given no reasonable explanation when it comes to pressure gradients, and we were given jack shit for evidence to show that that pressure gradient is going to arbitrarily stop at a given altitude. So these guys, if they want to go ahead and say that they care about objective reality, I would recommend at this point that they start practicing what they fucking preach.
Hey, man.
Wrap up.
Okay.
Next topic.
Gav. Okay, Gav. Now, tell us what your next example of why the globe model is ridiculous. What would be your next piece of evidence?
I'd just like to maybe just very briefly respond to that rhetoric.
Sure, and then go into your next example.
Yeah. I won't bother. No, let's just go to the next example. So, it's an absurd claim to think that water can bend and conform to the exterior of a shape. So could you guys practically demonstrate how large standing bodies of water can do that? And I know you'll probably want to invoke gravity, which is going into mathematics from Isaac Newton. And I don't think we should go there, because what we want to see is a practical demonstration of large bodies of curved water. And that contradicts our lived life.
Reg, do you have a large body of water with you? Do you have a large body handy that you can demonstrate with? I don't, actually.
Jim Panda. Hang on. Actually, Jim Panda, unfortunately, I have figured out a way to bend reality to make a large body of water fit into my pocket. So I'm just going to unfold it. I'm giving it to Steve right now. Steve, could you please play the video of the large body of water, please?
I am on it. Actually, I give it to our producer.
There we go. We're already off. We're
already way ahead of you. We got it ready for you. We got your answer.
Got it ready. Let's go ahead and play this shit. Let's play it from any point. It doesn't matter, because it's absolutely fucking amazing. Because there's not one, not two, not three, but 4 examples of this bendy water, and there you fucking go. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
Horizontal axis of the instrument.
This is
a pretty spectacular picture.
What we're seeing here is the Lake Pontchartrain live stream from Soundly. Soundly was able. Hang on. Not done yet. 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 Not done yet.
Except Reds can talk.
Thank you. So what you're seeing in the bottom right-hand corner is a 3D model that was based on the known dimensions of the globe. And what you're seeing in the top left is the actual observations from the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway. And would you fucking notice that they match perfectly? And this is over water, which you were asking for proof of bending. What do we see here? Bendy water. I rest my fucking case. Again, done in objective reality. There's a curve there in objective reality, as predicted by the globe and as done by observations that you can do yourself.
Okay, Gav?
Well, yeah, you've got to be kidding me, right? You're showing me videos and images of are you guys really not understanding this? Is this are you guys so incredibly dense? Show me. Tell me how I can prove to myself that we can bend water. Well, maybe I'll ask it slightly differently. At what radius of the Earth does water start to bend? Could you give me a mathematical formula for that, please?
A mathematical formula for when water starts to bend?
Yeah. At what radius of the Earth will water start to bend?
It'll start to
give me a number. Give me a number.
It'll start to bend at any radius. If you had an actual graph of physics like you claimed, then you would know that.
So like 10 centimeters? When will it start to bend? Yeah, you guys really are incredibly dense. I'm really going to have to start.
Gav,
hang on.
Gav.
All they're willing to do right now is throw invectives and insult people. They're not adding anything to the conversation. They're not adding anything to the validity of the conversation. They're just insulting and just being having the arguments.
I got this.
I got this. Let me finish this because I have to ask Reds a question on this. But I'm not going to put up with just people insulting. So if they're going to insult Dave from here on out, whatever, just mute them. It's not worth the time because we want to have their arguments. If they want to present their arguments, great. We'd love to hear it. They have plenty of time to discuss their arguments. But if you had a sphere of water in a microenvironment where there's no gravity, would that water stay in a spherical shape? And would that mean bending by what they're meaning by bending?
Yes.
Okay. So can you ask them if in a microgravity environment or in a no gravity environment where you have a sphere of water, would that sphere of water stay spherical? That's what they're asking about bending. I think that's a fair question.
Actually, it can be done by zero-G flights, but I just want to point out to what Gav said. Gav said at what radius? Radius means sphere. So if you have a sphere with sufficient enough gravity and you put a fluid on there that is being interacted by that gravity, it will start to bend. Now, you can go ahead and talk about the scale of the bending another time, but I have a more direct question for you, Gav. Are you denying what this observation was showing in, quote, objective reality that you can demonstrate yourself?
Yes, I'm denying that.
So Gav denies objective reality, guys. We're officially done here.
Denies objective reality. Okay, fair enough.
You're denying objective reality. Guys, this was done with not only the flat Earth or camera of choice, but you could do this shit yourself.
Guys, everybody can see what you guys are playing at. Sorry, this is so obvious getting, right?
I'm not sure that's
yeah,
I think you got a bad read on that one.
After all, they are making the wanker gesture.
Yeah, I mean the arguments are just so
university education that he's able to make the wanker sign.
This is bizarre. This is bizarre.
It's kind of strange because
this
is where Dale he's race quitting. Yeah, Dale rage quit.
Where we start singing that goodbye song because I'll start dancing.
Okay,
well,
Gav.
Gav hasn't rage quit yet, so maybe Gav can actually have a conversation now without the road raging of Dell. He needs to switch DK.
Stop that, Steve, please.
Okay. So
Gav,
are we all muted?
No, you're good. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and respond.
Especially like prompter train.
Stop the ad hominems. Could you please stop the ad hominems?
Yes.
No, I haven't said anything bad. We've listened to nothing but Red's Rhetoric and Gem Panda swearing and all kinds of shit all the time. So
I haven't sworn once, and you just
we're starting new now that Dell's gone and you're here. We're going to start new. We're going to clean the slate real quick. Try to have a meaningful conversation. So, Gav, will you please present what you have against what Red just kind of explained to you about the lake video that you just saw?
So visibles are no proof of practical reality. If you guys are seriously telling me that showing a video with visible pictures and images, I want to be able to see bendy water practically. You cannot get that in live life, and you guys. Is it okay if I speak?
Yeah, I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
I mean, this is a problem, Kyle, so I don't really see this being a very good moderated show, right? I think we've not really had much time to speak. We've been talked over multiple times. You did say to me that it would be fair. I don't really see this being fair. But
I have to tell you that Sure, I understand that, and that's completely your right to feel that way. It's very difficult to try to keep, for me anyway, 5 people kind of wrangled in line without just saying I'm going to mute everybody, and I don't like to do that in this kind of environment. I am doing the that I absolutely can to keep it as fair, but in this environment, and when people get heated and passionate, it is rather difficult. So it's your right to feel that way. But I am trying to be as fair as I possibly can. But I wanted to ask you, how can you, or what would be an example of a demonstration or proof that they could give you outside of the video? If you're not willing to take the video, what type of evidence are you willing to take? Because obviously we can't go out right now on this show and show you water bending. So if videos won't do it, what are you looking for in terms of evidence?
I'm looking for to you guys to explain to me that the claim that you guys make that water can conform to the outside of a sphere, which is something that you cannot do in reality, you cannot do in lived life. I would ask you to explain that absurdity.
Okay, well, my question is, he just showed you how that works. So if you're not willing to take a video, what type of?
It showed me images. He showed me images. Yeah, okay. I would want something that everybody can practically demonstrate for themselves. And that doesn't mean that doesn't mean taking a picture of water. It means dealing with the substance itself and showing it to bend.
Okay, give me an example of the substance that you want, though. We're on a show right now.
Show me bending water. Tell me how I can go out into reality and bend water.
Gav, go to that same lake. Gav, you can go to that same lake.
Gav, you're at. Hang on, Gav. Let me just go ahead and make sure people understand what you're asking me here. You're asking me to physically manipulate a large body of water like a lake, dude. Are you Aquaman?
Yeah, that's exactly the absurd thing that you are claiming, that large standing bodies of water can bend. No, you're claiming that. You're claiming that.
Gav, you're asking me to become a fucking waterbender from Avatar. It doesn't work like that.
Are you claiming that large standing bodies of water, the place is covered in fucking water? Do you claim that large bodies of water can bend around spheres? Is that what you are claiming?
Gav, I am answering your question.
Stop yelling over each other. Jesus Christ. Nobody can hear when both of you, Gav, you paused. He started talking. Let him finish.
I will answer your question. I am not claiming that water can bend over large areas. I am demonstrating that water can bend over large areas, as the video clearly shows. And to your second question, you said, how can I demonstrate this for myself? Simple. Go out to a large body of water, preferably Lake Pontchartrain in beautiful Louisiana, take a Nikon P900 and fucking zoom in. Better yet, get in contact with Sally and he'll hold your hand for you just in case you screw it up. That's how you can do it.
Can I get in here as well? Can I get in here quickly? Gavin made the claim that this was impossible in lived life. So how do you know that this is impossible?
Because all lived life, whether it's a container of water, shows that water is level. Our whole world is built on that principle of leveling with a substance that levels when it's in a container. Now you are claiming that it can conform to the. Can I finish? I'm not going to play this game either, guys. If you just
please go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. Please go ahead. So how have you determined that water that you've just shown me, how have you determined that isn't bending slightly around the curvature of the Earth?
Yeah, but does your house bend around the curvature of the Earth? Does your house slope from one side to the other? Because otherwise you're going to have to ask the carpenter how you level.
Built. Yeah. You made the claim that this is impossible. How do you know that this is impossible? All you've done is show me some water.
You're denying reality again.
All you've done is show me a bit of water and say it looks level. It looks level. If in a hypothetical world, if in a hypothetical world the water in your bottle was curving round an Earth with a 29,000 mile circumference, the amount of curvature in that bottle of water would be minute, and you would need some very sophisticated and accurate measuring equipment to determine if it was or wasn't curved. So your claim is that water bending round a curve is impossible. How do you know that it's impossible?
No, I answer my first question. You are, in fact, claiming that water can bend and it's just so minute that we cannot measure it. Is that your claim? Yes or no?
I'm not making a claim. I'm asking you about your claim.
You are making a claim. You believe in a ball where that happens. So that's the claim that you're making.
I'm asking you about your claim. Why are you trying to avoid the burden of proof again?
You avoided my question.
I asked you first, Gavin. I asked you first, Gavin, and my question was, why do you believe that this is impossible? What reasons do you have for that?
I'm just going. No, the claim is, your claim is that large.
I haven't made a claim. I've been very careful not to make a claim because I'm playing the same game you are, mate. You made the claim that this is impossible.
Do you believe in the globe?
You made the claim.
Do you believe in the globe?
You made the claim that this is impossible. Answer the question. Why are you avoiding the question?
Stop. Jim, Gav, all he wants to do is talk over you. All Gav does, every time you've said something, Gav has just interrupted you and talked over you. It's not productive. That's the only thing he's been doing.
I'm leaving this call again. I'm going to leave this. Thank you very much. Kyle, I'm disappointed.
Sorry, get a refund from whatever school you went to.
Yeah, we're bringing in two other flat earthers that can actually maybe have a conversation because all these two want to do
get a refund.
Gav.
Get a refund, Gav.
You guys are a bunch of sophist wankers, and you've got absolutely nothing. Yeah?
If you were able to get your ass kicked by some no-name kid from Florida, you need a better education.
Yeah, I don't understand how you went through. Let me just throw this out because you're leaving.
Steve, hang on. I'll go ahead and ice myself here, Gav. Hang on, Gav. I'll go ahead and ice myself here. I'll go ahead and ice myself here, Gav.
You can talk all you want.
Mute this fucker. Listen.
Yeah, mute.
Gav, are you leaving or are you staying? Are you leaving or are you staying? Are you leaving or are you staying?
Hang on, Gav, I will ice myself here. I am a fucking nobody from Florida. If I was able to easily debunk your fucking nonsense, what does that say about your educational level? Get a fucking refund and come back when you actually have something to offer. Shithead.
Yeah, if Reds can debunk you, oh, I mean, come on. All right, so we're going to bring in two other people. I think we've got, is this?
They're going to give us a link.
Yeah, this is Jason of Awake Souls.
Okay, hey, what's up, Jason? I didn't want to use your first name because I didn't want to dox you, but so
I'm going to grab an alcoholic beverage. I'll be right back. 5 seconds.
All right, we're getting one more link for somebody else, if you guys don't mind. So give us like 30 seconds here. And Jason, you want to like introduce yourself a little bit? I know you from the live chat. I know a little about your channel, but can you kind of like tell us about your positions?
Sure, great. Yeah, I'm a flat earther. I've been one for a couple of years. I do have a flat earth proof video on my channel. It's called the Flat Earth River Proof. I love searching for the truth, and I've been doing a bunch of it. I've found Earth to be flat. I am a Christian. Part of the flat Earth for me, it reawakened me to the truth of the Bible. So I grew up knowing the Bible. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, and I left that. I left it for scientism, and so I totally, when the internet came along, broadband came along, I totally dove into that. And I guess I was looking for my way out of Christianity. I had the cognitive dissonance bias. And so the whole heliocentric model, space, all of that, I was a full buy-in on it. So I went through troubles in my life, becoming a globe, Earth, heliocentric, scientism to the max type person. What happened to me personally is I became very self-serving and hedonistic, and it was just all about me all the time. So it ran my life into the ground. I ended up getting divorced, and I took the opportunity to do deep self-inflection and try to figure out some of the deeper questions about why are we really here and stuff like that. So the atheism began to fade away, and I started seeking spirituality, and I went through the Eastern religions, Buddhism, Taoism, all of those types of philosophies, and got to the point where I considered myself enlightened. I've come to find out later that it's not really enlightened, but it's non-duality, and it's a whole nother topic. But I've done a lot of research on a lot of subjects, and flat Earth is one of them. And so I'm not familiar with you guys. I'm sorry, but thank you for hosting the platform here where we can have that we can have a discussion about this. And I've heard of Red's Rhetoric, and I understand him to be a strong globe believer proponent. And I feel like I've researched this enough to be able to defend flat Earth really well. And so if Reds would like to debate with me over the shape of the Earth, that'd be wonderful. I'd like it to be I'd like it to be a civil discussion like this. We don't need to talk over each other. We don't need to bring in any ad hominem attacks. This isn't a personal issue, because I don't know you guys. I don't know Red's Rhetoric. I don't have any pony in that game. It's just a discussion about what we believe is true in this world. Is that cool?
You know, yeah, dude. Yeah, thrilled to death. You've already demonstrated that you can actually have a conversation. So yes.
And David, I sent you an updated layout just in case. Take away the two names. So I don't want that to be misconstrued. So we'll just switch those out. Do we have the other guy yet, Steve? Or are we still waiting?
Yeah, rating on Russian vids. I have given him the link. He has accepted it, so he should be in here pretty soon.
So before we get into discussion, let me go into what we have coming up. If you've got that ready, we can go through while we're waiting on the other guy to come through. That'll be a good time filler. That way we can let everybody know what's happening for the rest of the week. If you
is there any way?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there any way we could get the name with me changed? Because
we're going to be doing that right now. We've already got a new layout, and the new layout will have the new information on it.
Cool.
But we're going to be rolling some stuff.
So tomorrow, guys, we have the rescheduled Jehovah's Witness debate with Telltale Atheist and Lloyd. Lloyd Evans. That will be with an active Jehovah's Witness member. That's tomorrow at 5 p.m. Tuesday, we will be talking to the author of Mind Virus, Charles Kowalski, who wrote a book about what if global terrorism was made in the name of atheism. It kind of takes a spin off of the terrorist acts that are made in like religious names, Islam, but replacing that with atheism. Very interesting read. Then we're going to Wednesday, part 2 of the coin talk that we had last week with Rick Gifrack. He will be back to continue that. Don't miss that. That was very interesting. Then Thursday, I don't have a slide for it yet, but that will be Mr. Atheist and Jay Dyer. They will be talking about symbolism in Hollywood movies. And then Friday, as you're seeing on your screen, we will be joined by Nightmare Fuel to go into a little bit of politics and things like that. So big week coming up. If you decide to come back after this discussion, you should be commended. So thank you for being patient with us. Okay.
Did you guys catch that I was born and raised Jehovah's Witness? Or do you have a Jehovah's Witness on?
We have a Jehovah's Witness, an actual coming tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
So by the way,
what approach is that all about? I'm curious.
He is a active Jehovah's Witness. We have two of our really good friends, content creators, really big content creators here actually on YouTube, Telltale Atheist and Lloyd Evans, who owns the YouTube channel John Cedars. They are both former Jehovah's Witnesses. They go through in their videos and explain how or their experiences, how they kind of got out of it, what they went through. And we had actually been trying to find an active Jehovah's Witness to come speak to them because they had questions, and it was really hard to do that. No active Jehovah's Witness wanted to come and be a part of that. We finally found one, so they're going to be coming back tomorrow to answer their
questions. Do that. I can do that. I can play that part really, really well. I was a Bethelite, so I was at their headquarters for almost 2 years. I was a pioneer. I was the leader of their, the quick build Kingdom Halls. I was running crews for that.
Are you active now?
That was probably what. No, I left when I was mid 25. It was my intro with the go into scientism and all that, the heliocentric model.
Yeah. Well, the reason that this is kind of unique is because this guy's actually still in it. He is an actual still practicing Jehovah's Witness, and to have one of them willing to come on to kind of do that is rare. So that's the kind of angle that we're coming from on this one. Like, he's going to actually be responding to their questions as a active practicing Jehovah's Witness, which rarely happens.
This is second only to Scientology. Can't get one of them. We're trying to get a Scientologist. If you know any Scientologists that are active, please send them our way. They're seem to be non-existent.
This is so synchronistic right now because Ronnie of the Limitless channel and myself, Jason of Awake Souls, we were actually at the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses this morning, and we have live stream on his channel of us with an Earth is Flat billboard trolling the Jehovah's Witnesses and reading scriptures to them. And holy cow, what a coincidence that this is all happening. This is amazing.
Maybe you were meant to be here.
I think so.
Right. Maybe. Well, we'll find out. But
State your case.
I'd like to kind of try to get this back on flat Earth. So first, I just want to say, already you've demonstrated yourself to be a lot more polite and not angry as our last two guests, and hopefully that you'll have a great conversation with Reds or Jim Panda or both. Hopefully, if you want to start your position and then have them kind of address it, I'm completely fine with it. I'm pretty sure Kyle is.
And just so that we stick to the theme, can you be a little bit more dumpster fire for us? Like wildly
do what?
Wave your arm, yell, call Steve a couple names in between.
Yeah, call me. Call me things.
Damn it. No, I'm not like that. This is all about the mental aspect, the truth. That is what we should truly all be after. And I'm in a situation in my life where I've overcome all fear. So I'm happy to talk about the evidence and things that I've come across with anyone in any situation.
Awesome.
And
start your best evidence and let them address it.
All right. So I guess I'll give some context so that we can, as a group, hone in on the most important points so as to not waste people's time. But so like I had said, I had felt like I had become enlightened, and I was sort of stuck in this situation where I had come to the realization that I was in a simulation. I got this awareness through the enlightenment process. And people that do this, where they do an intense practice through meditations, yogas, separating themselves from the world, it's a very common theme, and they all teach the same thing. The Buddha, all these different spiritual teachers taught us that it's the things that we hold in mind that tend to manifest, and that we are not the body. This is a common theme in the Eastern religions. And this is something that is verifiable. It is true that we are not the body, that this is not a radical material reductionist reality where things get broken down to the cellular level, and that's all we are, because consciousness is something that is independent of the body. And there's plenty of ways to demonstrate that. Out-of-body experiences are well documented. Near-death experiences, well documented. So we are not the body. And I knew this from that Eastern religion spiritual research that I had done. And then I had been a truther. Things like 9/11 and Sandy Hook and all these other things came along, and I had dove into them, and I had come to the conclusion that there was a lot of conspiracies in place, and that there was, the media, the governments worked in coercion together. And I could easily be considered a conspiracy theorist, but wear the badge proudly because I consider it being a researcher and not a conformist to just pure propaganda. So
okay, let me ask you a question real quick before we go on. Let me ask you a question real quick, just so that we kind of stick to one issue and dive in that, so that we can just jump straight in.
I was just going to take it to flat Earth.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's back on the flat Earth. If you want to have that discussion about simulation theory or reality, I can have that with you at another time.
Well, it all ties in because the map and model is dependent on it. Because if the reality that we exist in is a simulation, and we can demonstrate it through simulations, all this type of stuff. I mean, as researchers, it's just part of it that has to be mentioned.
Okay.
So then flat Earth came across my plate, and at first I was a person that disregarded it and would not look into it. Thought it made people look ridiculous. At some point, I found the conflict within myself. I was enlightened. I should have no fear. I had overcome my death, all these types of things. What do I have against looking into this? And I did. Right away, there was key issues that had the ring of truth. It's just like an alarm bell that goes off when a person is looking for the truth. Truth has a certain taste or feel to it, and I was like stunned by it. There was evidence, things that I could go check and verify myself. So
okay, Jason,
I researched.
Jason, we only have 2 hours. We really need to get to the topic here, honestly.
Okay, that's fine. So enough context. Enough context.
Yeah, we got the context. Yes. Trust me. Okay, good.
Yeah. So the Earth is flat. I have a proof, the flat Earth river proof, that is undebunked, that shows how a globe Earth would be impossible. But because I've been in flat Earth long enough, the point that I have to hone in on and just make it the simplest thing that we can key in on is curvature. And so to Red's Rhetoric, to yourselves, to anybody out there, I would like people to name the places where we can go out and measure, get the survey equipment, do the work to see if we project lines that are as level as we possibly can with the instruments that we have these days. Are they level? How long are they level? And do we ever find curvature? I've proposed a water level test that water levels are used in construction. They are more accurate than a laser level because a laser, the beam diverges and becomes immeasurable at relatively short distances. So it's actually water levels that are used to calibrate laser levels. The longer the water level is, we should be able to then pull it up on story poles, be it 3 miles, 6 miles. We can put together as much hose as we wish. And what we'll find is that if we were to both put up the water levels on marks and to have taken and just projected a horizontal line, that we would get the same results, that there is no curvature. The globe Earth promotes the idea that we see ships sail beyond the horizon where they're disappearing from
one thing at a time.
Up.
Jason, you're
okay.
rambling.
I'll pause.
Just talk one thing at a time. So you're talking about Hawking experiment, right? The laser level. Is that what you're referring to? He is. Okay, what? So Reds and Jem, do you want to address his argument there about the laser level using it across the lake experiment? Because that's what he's referring to, obviously.
No,
sure.
I guess.
I thought he was talking about his own proposal, which was to, I believe, to connect a lot of hoses until you'd got them 3 miles long, and then fill it with water and measure the elevation of each. I mean, I thought it was an interesting idea, but I thought that what I did was I calculated how much water would fill a hose 3 miles long, and it was it was tons of water. So I think it would be quite a challenge to achieve.
Well, no, I've come up with a really simple solution where along the coast we would just have the hose down where the water and the shore meet, and because we have all that water there, we can just have pumps set up that just pump the water into the hose, and we can pump it to the extent that there's no bubbles. We can verify with clear sight glasses on the side that all the bubbles have been removed. It's going to be all the same temperature water. And then when you pull them up and then test that, verify it against a transiting level that can project perfectly level. We can put as many waypoints along the way as necessary with benchmarks to be able to verify that there is absolutely no curvature. So that's just a test. But as far as the debate's concerned, I would just like to really hone in on the fact that because it is my case that everything has been fabricated as evidence for the globe, and that it is one big satanic lie. So I was a Jehovah's Witness. I was born and raised, went to Bethel and all that. Know the Bible really, really well, plus the extra canonical scriptures.
Okay. Jason, I like you, dude. I really do, and thank you for being civil and polite. There's no reason to mute you like we did the other people. You have to stop rambling, though. We have to keep on the topic.
Can I
ask me a question
about the other things? Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Ask me a question.
I have a much better solution than connecting, a lot of hoses, and that's simply, let's just go to LIGO. Let's just all go to LIGO. LIGO's arms are long enough. Yeah, LIGO.
LIGO.
Let's.
Are you talking about a satellite?
No. It's on Earth. LIGO. The instrument that detected gravitational waves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
you think the gravity's real? I understand.
Hang on. I'm not talking about gravity. I'm not talking about going to LIGO because we're trying to measure what LIGO was built for. LIGO has a second hand factor to it. LIGO's arms are long enough that the curvature of the Earth was a factor in the instrument's design. Over the 4-kilometer length of its arms, the Earth curves down / away by 1 full meter. Precision concrete pouring and leveling were required to counteract this curvature and ensure that LIGO's arms were level for the laser. So if we know that LIGO is shooting laser in a tube, and that tube is a vacuum, therefore getting rid of any atmospheric refraction deviation, so we know that laser is perfectly straight. If it was level at the beginning, but it's not level at the end and requires 1 full meter of concrete to offset the curvature, wouldn't that accomplish what you're suggesting we do, but in a much easier way, and we also get to see some badass technology at the same time?
Okay, so I mean, you do understand that it is my argument that you're talking about a faked instrument to find something that doesn't exist, and it's being promoted as science, which, so I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, Christian.
I don't.
We got that.
I don't.
So LIGO
I don't care what LIGO was built for. I don't care what LIGO does. I care about what LIGO is. At the very basic level, LIGO is a laser within an evacuated chamber to make sure that laser is perfectly straight. And the laser is leveled at the point of origin. Yet when you go to the other side of its 4-kilometer length, it is not leveled at that side, and over 1 meter of concrete needed to be poured to offset the curvature enough so that the laser would make it to the other end. I don't care what LIGO's actually measuring, but wouldn't that just do what you said we should do, but in a much easier way?
Why are you taking it to some sort of science type created instrument that's supposed to be so precision that none of us can get our hands on it and actually know for sure the truth when there's so much, when there is so many. No.
Jason,
no, let me ask a
question.
question. When there is so much observable evidence, there is so much observable evidence that we can't focus on observable truth. Let's not take it to the things that we can't all verify ourselves. Let's take it to the things that everyone here can verify themselves.
Okay. Jason, please listen for a minute here. We're having a discussion on flat Earth. We're not having a discussion if reality is real. Okay. If you want to argue from incredulity that things don't exist, that simulation theory, that LIGO is
that's not
even real.
No,
let me finish.
That is not what I'm. That is my purpose. You're making that up.
Let me finish. If that's what you do want to argue, that's a different topic. Do you? And I'm just. These are just yes or no answers because I want to get to the heart of this because what is asked is a very legit question, and you're just taking it on a tangent, and nobody wants to really go down. Does LIGO exist?
No. This.
Yes or no?
This is the tangent. Nobody wants to go down.
And there's more than
this
one.
Is the tangent. This is the tangent. Nobody wants to go down.
It's a yes or no question, please. Does
we're going
LIGO
back
exist?
To flat Earth. We're going back to curvature. We're going to curvature. We're not going down LIGO. We're not. I'm
asking you a direct question. Please answer it. I don't like playing
right now that this is a misdirect.
Jason,
this is a misdirect. It's a misdirect.
It's not a misdirect. Okay, you know what? Jason, we're going to bring some other person on it. Yeah, I've already lost my patience.
Yeah,
Jason,
let's talk about flat Earth. We're not.
Okay.
We're not talking about LIGO. We're talking about flat Earth.
Look. All of you, calm down. All of you,
calm down. You won't answer a direct question.
Let me try to get this back on track. Okay. Red's asked you a very legitimate question about an instrument that can do basically what you were wanting to do in the first place. Why is that not okay? Because
this. A satanic misdirect, and the purpose of it is to take us and have us go into a piece of instrument that nobody else can verify.
David, he's talking about something.
You guys are Satanists right now.
He wants to take it down a little bit.
Hold on. We're not going to say about Jason yet. I'm interested now. Hold on, Jason. Explain to me what's satanic about what we're doing, please.
Do you promote the heliocentric lie?
Really?
I'd like to know why. Hold on, everybody. I asked him a question. Let him answer it. God damn.
So did we.
So did we. We're gonna get back there, but I want to find out what he thinks we're doing that's satanic.
Do you promote the heliocentric lie?
I do not promote the heliocentric lie. I promote reality. What's satanic about that?
It's not reality. It's not true, and it's very
very
provably not true.
Again, you don't want to use sciencey things, so I don't take what you say.
I'm the one that proposed the water level test. I'm the one that proposed the water level test. Nobody else has come up with a better experiment than it.
Sciencey?
Hang on. No. If you just remembered what I just said, I just gave you one that was better. I just did, and your only response to that was, "Oh, it's Satan because Mahulibuk." I need something better than that, dude.
You're taking it to a technology that you're taking it to a technology, right? That nobody else has the ability to see the actual results. It's the easiest thing to manipulate out there.
They give
I'm
tours.
trying to. I am.
They give fucking tours, and you can say this shit for yourself.
All you have to do, Jason. Jason, you think
I'm talking about an experiment?
Hang on. This is my turn. If you were worried about giving your money to these awful satanic devil worshipping baby eaters, whatever the fuck you want to call them, I will pay for your ticket, and they will take my money, and then you can see the tube that has the laser in it going perfectly straight, and seeing how the Earth does not conform to that laser. Would you like to go ahead and do that?
Go ahead. Okay, now it's my turn. So let me ask Jason. I asked a very direct question for a reason. And when I ask direct questions, I expect direct answers because I give direct answers. Okay? I'm not trying to entrap anybody. These are very simple, basic questions. Do you agree LIGO exists? Simple question. Doesn't quite require a lot of context with it. Yes or no?
LIGO is not in my area of research. I've heard of it. I have never been there.
Okay, so you don't know if it exists or not then?
I don't.
Okay, fair enough. That's honest answer. Can't laugh at that. Come on. Okay, maybe we can, but it's fair enough. So, do you know what LIGO does? Hang on, Russia.
What?
Do you know what LIGO was built for?
Who was that?
That
was Russian bits, I think.
Okay, hang on, Russian.
Yep.
Do you know what LIGO, and there's other ones, there's more than one. I believe there's 3 now, and there's one they're going to be in space they're going to put up. But do you know what they're built for?
Do you understand that what you're doing is trying to build an argument off of something that we don't know exists?
The next person that answers a question with a question, I will ask to have be removed. I'm not. We're running out of time here. Do not answer a question with a question. I've asked you a question. It requires an answer, not another question. Do you know what LIGO was built for?
I've told you that this is not my area of research.
He doesn't know. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this?
I have told you that this is.
Hey guys.
That this is not my area of research. I would
hang on. This is obviously not your area. Hang on. This doesn't need to be your area of research. I will explain it very simply. LIGO only has 3 things that we're concerned about. Hang on.
Mute him, please.
We are only concerned with 3 parts of LIGO. We're concerned with the laser, the evacuated chamber, and the meter-high batch of concrete that's on the other side of it to counteract the curvature of the Earth. Those are the only 3 things about LIGO that we actually care about right here. So if we were to go there... But he doesn't
understand what LIGO is. He doesn't believe it exists, I don't think.
Oh, God. Okay.
I am a debater, all right? So there is things that I have researched extensively. There are things that I have researched extensively, and those are the things that I would wish to speak about. The things that I have not researched extensively would not be the areas that I would want to speak about. What I am proposing is that we talk.
That's great, but you don't get to all the things that you don't know satanic.
What I am proposing are
exactly. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle.
Everyone mute.
Thank you, Kyle.
Everyone mute for a second. I'm not saying you did research this. That's not my claim. My question, actually, because it's a question, not a claim. My question is, would you like to go there with me so we can research this and you can measure that block of concrete for yourself?
The answer is no, because what I want to do is experiments that every single person out there is capable of verifying themselves.
You can! I do not. What aren't you understanding about that? He just invited you.
If I could jump in here,
you can verify it yourself.
Yeah, the reason I want to
verify it is you don't want to do it because it will shatter your view of the geocentric model. That's the only reason that you don't
exactly.
Okay, guys. Show me the place where the curve is. Tell the audience where we can go measure the curve.
He just did.
8 inches.
He just did.
Can I jump in here?
8 inches per mile squared. Do you know how much that is?
I offered to buy your ticket, dude.
I'm done with Jason. He's just Russian at this point. So
you guys are Russian such in here, satanic losers.
Actually, Jason. Before you go, can we bring you back on to talk about if we landed on the moon sometime?
That's fine. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah,
I've been to hell before.
I can cover anything that has to do with spirituality, Jehovah's Witnesses, flat Earth, you name it.
Okay. Email me at live@NonSequitur Show so that I have your information.
I just want to say, Reg,
I want to go ahead. I want to go ahead and make a claim. I want to go ahead and just make a claim real quick. Sure. I honestly don't believe for a second that this guy cares about what we can all do, because Romans chapter 3, verse 4 will basically override any batch of evidence or logic or reasonable thinking you could possibly throw at him. At this point, I'm done.
Yeah, and the reason why this was so critical, I was next. The reason it was so critical is because if Red is asking him a question about LIGO, and he clearly does not know what LIGO is for, he automatically jumped to a conclusion because he doesn't know what LIGO is, and it has to be a satanic conspiracy. This is the mindset that we're trying to point out to people. If somebody doesn't know something, they're incapable of having it. You do not interrupt me, please. When a person does that,
there was the devil sign.
Okay. Hell's yeah, Ozzy Osbourne, baby. Fuck yeah, Black Sabbath. Bitch out.
Nice.
What happened to Jason?
Okay, Russian. How can you disappoint us more than the rest of the group?
Yeah. Okay. So that's the.
Okay. Can you guys hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. Thank you. This is awesome. We're enjoying this.
Good, thank you.
We're having a fucking blast.
Do you like Black Sabbath?
Here,
guys, I just want to say, guys, please. I just want to say, I'm not going to be one to jump over people. Let's let each person speak. and get their point across. It's really irritating to hear people talk over each other. It's pointless. Let's let each other talk, and we can do this. It's not a big deal. It's very, it's reasonable people.
We've heard that all day, Russian. We've heard that all day.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, like
All
I
right,
want to,
so-
I was in the chat. Oh, sorry, Steve. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to know real quick. Do you like Black Sabbath? Because this is important. Black Sabbath.
Yeah,
Yes.
the double horn. Hey, let me just say this.
People in our chat, we love you. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Please go ahead, Russian.
Let me-
Case.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I just want to point out when Dell and Gav were on, and I just wish I could have just joined in then and just said this simply. We never seen space shuttles enter space and return from space. That's observable, supposedly, objectively. We've never seen that. All we see is shuttles come in for the landing. Okay, there's supposedly no fuel. It's all expelled during launch. But they come in supposedly back into Earth's atmosphere with no fuel. These little tiny wings drop out of space like a rock and land. What's that? See, I'm being interrupted. I thought we're gonna do this where we don't interrupt each other.
You can finish. You can finish. Yeah, you can finish.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at, where Gav and you guys are going back and forth, I want to explain. I've made many videos on this topic where you see, for example, the European Union supposedly launching a rocket into space to disperse satellites. The problem is this: you see the rocket launch. Then the problem is this: when the so-called rockets in space, it's freaking CGI. It's not real. It's a cartoon in space. That's what I'm getting at. We do not have observable proof. So, for example, Red, and no disrespect, Red, or anybody here, I just want to have a conversation. When you show that that one launch into space, we don't know when it's entering or exiting the so-called atmosphere. But I can tell you, we don't see a physical space shuttle launch go into space or return. That's the point I'm trying to get. That's the point I want to make. People need to understand this. Another example, flight simulators. Okay, there's no curvature in the flight simulator. My brother's a pilot. There's no curvature in the flight simulator. Therefore, when pilots exit a flight simulator and fly in a real plane, that's why it's called an airplane. It's a vehicle flying over a plane through the air. So there's no curvature in the flight simulator. So, yeah, go ahead.
Let's deal with one claim at a time, okay? So let him respond about the thing, and then go into the simulator so that we don't get lost. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I actually am one of the few people out there that doesn't go to NASA to say that the Earth is round. In fact, the only reason I say that the Earth is round is because of observations and measurements that I have done myself. And so, but if you want to go ahead and talk about NASA, the first thing we need to understand here is that is a completely different topic. But to your question about the space shuttle, how does it stay up there even though all the fuel is expelled? All right. Well, here's the thing. Imagine you have a ball.
Sorry, Red, I didn't say that. Hey? No, Red, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I didn't say that. I simply said, how does it return to space as a rock and just come into the supposed Earth's atmosphere and come in for a landing on the spinning ball? I didn't say how it maneuvered in space without fuel. I didn't even go there. That wasn't the point. But go ahead.
Okay, then the way they enter the Earth's atmosphere is by doing what's known as a deorbit burn. The space shuttle is going to flip to go retrograde, fire its rockets to lower its orbit in so that it enters the Earth's atmosphere. While it's still in the vacuum of space, after that retrograde burn, it's then going to use rotation wheels or RCS thrusters to flip itself into the proper orientation so that the wings are level with the atmosphere it wants to go in. Then it's going to do what's known as pitch, yaw, and roll maneuvers to bleed off as much speed as possible so that most of the brute force and heating can hit the tiles that are on the belly of the lifting body aircraft. Then after a while, after it finally travels long enough and bleeds off enough speed, it will then act like a glider. The same way that gliders land on a globe is the same exact way the space shuttle would land on a globe, because the atmosphere is rotating with the Earth, therefore having a 1-to-1 speed ratio with the ground that it's trying to land on. So with a 1-to-1 speed ratio, it's able to easily maneuver and easily land and deploy a drogue chute to bring itself to a safe landing for the astronauts that are on board, assuming, of course, you don't have an O-ring fuck up like what happened with Challenger.
Yeah, which was a hoax. But I want to say this clearly.
Which was
I
it?
wish you
Go
guys
fuck
can
yourself.
screenshot.
I'm sorry.
I wish you guys.
Wait. No, I am not going to let you get away with that. Excuse me. I am not going to let you get away with that. Did you just say the Challenger was a hoax? Did you just say a Challenger was a hoax? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I'm done. Get the fuck out, David. I'm telling you right. Get him the fuck out of here. I will not have that.
Bye, Russian.
You will not disrespect me for that.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me explain.
It's about flat Earth, not about hoaxes. How dare you? How dare you disrespect people that died in the fucking Challenger that I watched? Go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out, David. He's gone. I'm not putting up with that.
Bye, Russian.
Wow. Not only is Russian Vidge a dipshit, but also a fucking asshole as well. Congratulations, dude.
Right. Yeah, we have, believe it or not, we have some standards here.
Well,
we have
guys,
some standards. They're not very high, but that's it.
That was eventful. Thank you to Gav, Dell, Satanic Guy, and Russian for once again proving why it's just complete lunacy to believe that there is a flat Earth. We went through four people in the matter of 2 hours, none of them having any shred of evidence, none of them able to rebut anything they were presented with. All it is nuh-uh, and that's Satan.
Yep.
So,
thank you everyone for watching this.
We're going to let y'all have the last word and plug your channels. Tell everybody what you've got coming up and any other kind of tidbits that you want to throw in there. We'll start with Reds.
I guess thank you all for watching NonSequitur. It was fucking amazing. And by fucking amazing, I mean it was an entertaining dumpster fire. I'm glad I could be a part of it.
Yes, we'll try it.
It was fucking amazing. I'm sorry, I love this shit. But the fact is that my channel is Rhetoric. Subscribe if you want to, or don't if you don't. Doesn't matter to me. Basically, yeah. If this is the best that Flat Earth has, then good luck with that. Over to you.
Well said, Jim Panda.
We scraped the bottom of the barrel. We know.
Yeah, it was fun.
Now.
It was kind of how I thought it would be. But yeah, I think it's exactly as you said. I think they failed to make decent arguments, and Dell and Gavin descended it into a sort of a series of ad homs, really. But yeah, my channel is Panda 2012. I do some flat Earth debunking, and Apollo is kind of my thing. So I've got a nice long documentary presenting positive evidence for the Apollo missions. So if you're interested in that, please take a look. And thanks very much, you guys, for hosting this.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for. Sorry for making you endure that, but I think it was necessary. Guys out there, check out both of their channels. They're both fantastic. Not only do they make Flat Earth look ridiculous, but you'll learn something from every video that you watch with them. So you'll get something out of it too. Steve, any last words before I go and smoke the biggest bowl I have ever smoked in my entire life?
I'm coming over to smoke it with you, brother. No, you know what? I do want to thank Red and Jem for coming in. Obviously, I know this is probably not worth much of your time. I get that. We did find the bottom of the barrel for this. We promised a dumpster fire. We delivered, hopefully, on that promise.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. I know that you guys can handle anything that a flat earther throws out there, because as Kyle has brightly pointed out, every flat earther we brought in today had nothing to offer. They had no model. They even admitted there's no flat earth model. They on air admitted there's no flat earth model. And it was all about conspiratorial bullshit and Illuminati, and Satanism. I mean, they have absolutely nothing. I think many of them probably do need to go get some mental assessment. I'm not trying to be disparaging on that, but when you think everything is conspiracy, maybe something's not functioning right upstairs. But I do want to thank both of you guys for coming in. I love the audience. You guys were wonderful on this. But
what do we know? We're just shields. But what do we know? We're just shields.
For NASA. And
shields for NASA.
I got to get it right. I think
Paycheck every Thursday. Everybody, you stay Satanist. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn.
Great job, guys. That was fun.
Was it? Was it really?
They looked so damn dumb. Oh my God, the live chat was going nuts. People love this. They're like, holy